So we're gradually coming to the end of this course, and one important thing we should touch base on before rounding up is the case statement. At the end of this course, we would have been able to create conditional statements and write logic using the case function. So how does the case function work? The case function is used to, like I said, write logic. And if you're familiar with the if-else function in other programming languages like Python or even Excel, as simple as Excel is, you should grab this. Like I said, it's used to create conditional logic that helps us automate some operations in our query, right? So syntax is quite simple. It's just case, starts with case and ends with end, right? So to begin your case statement, you start with the case, you write case, and to end it, you start with end. And then what it does is this, it checks for some conditions, and when those conditions are met, it outputs a certain result. So when condition 1 is met, output result 1. When condition 2 is met, output result 2. We take more than 2 conditions, of course, right? So we always use some operators with case statements. We say when something equals to something, then do something. Or when something is less than, or something is less than or equal to. Those are operators we use with case statements. So let's go into pgadmin, right? And we are going to be using the query we used for our views earlier, right, to come up with this table. So I'm just going to delete the other ones. So remove panel, save, remove panel. So this is the query we used to create our views in the last video, right? And now we have this result from our views. But what if I want a case statement? I want to see which of my product or which of my pizzas are expensive and which is cheap, right? So I could start a case statement and say, case, like I said, we start with a case, and we end with end, right? So how do I start? So I want to write my first logic. I want to say when p dot price is greater than 10, what should happen? Then I want you to print out expensive. That means when I have price greater than $10, I want you to print out expensive, right? Then if I'm done with all my logic, I can say else. That means or else if it is not greater than. So else print out cheap, right? So I've ended my case statement, but I have to give it an alias, right? So let's call it end as category, right? And if we run this now, I'm going to remove the order. Okay, I'm ordering by quantity, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to run this now. And you can see that it has created a new category column where it's written expensive for everything greater than 10. But for everything less than 10 here, let me find something less than 10. Oh, it's really hard to find something less than 10. Okay, let's increase our limit. So let's say greater than 15, right? So for everything greater than 15, call it expensive, well else call it cheap. So now I can see because the price is 12 here, it's cheap. Because the price is 20.75 here, it's expensive. 16.75 expensive, so greater than 15, right? But I could say if I want, when I say greater than 15, that means from 15.1, 15.2. But if I want it to be from 15, so everything greater than or equal to 15, so it's going to be from 15 on the dot and above, be expensive. So I have to put the equal to and run it, and then we have our results. Now I could also I may not just want to have two conditions, expensive and cheap. I might want to say, okay, everything greater than 15 should be expensive, right? And for the next line, I would still say when p dot price is greater than maybe 7. Now let's say 12 here. Let's say 12 here and let's say 20 here. Right? So when it's greater than 20, say expensive. When it's greater than 12, then let's call it medium, mid, right? Mid. Then cheap. So what I'm saying is when the price is greater than 20, say expensive. When it's greater than 12, say mid. So you shouldn't just, when you're writing your logic, you shouldn't just, I can't put greater than 12 first and then greater than 20 next, because SQL works in a sequential manner, right? So when I do this, it reads and comes to this first line first, and it removes everything greater than 20. Now we are left with things less than 20. So the next thing is to remove everything greater than 12. Well, if I put this guy first before the greater than 20, when I remove everything greater than 12, everything greater than 20 would also be removed, because everything greater than 20 is also greater than 12. And then our code is all messed up. So it has to go from in reducing manner. So from 20 to 12 to 5 to whatever it is we want to do. So greater than 20, expensive, greater than 12, mid, and then the rest will be cheap. So if I run this, so I have it right here, because it's 12, it's cheap, right? Because I said greater than 12. Right. Well, let's make this greater than or equal to 12. So run this again. So this is 12, because it's greater than or equal to 12 is mid. Greater than 20 is expensive. 16.75 is mid. Do we have anything less than 12? Do we have any cheap? Yeah, we have a cheap. 9.75 is cheap. So that's how to write your case statement. You start with case to declare that you are starting a case statement, then you write your logic. So when this is this, then this. When this is this, then this. When this is this, then this. Or else do this. And end as, then you could also put your alias. So that's all there is to it about the case statement and writing logics in SQL. So we could practice this with other things in the table. So we could also do it with text as well. So I could create another case statement and say case, and let's end. And I can say when pizza ID, the o.pizza ID like, so using my wildcards, right? I want to say all the pizza ID that starts with H, like H and send sign, then say, and I want to say starts with H, else, let's say else, just make it null. So I'm just going to leave it as empty, right? And let's end this as, let's call this H check. So H check, right? And okay, so let's run this now. And you see, for every pizza that starts with H, that the pizza ID starts with H, it gives me start with H. But for every other one that does not start with H, it's just a null value, right? So I have that. So we could also use it on text as well. So this starts with H Hawaiian. This also starts with H Hawaiian. So we should also use that on text and different data types as well. So let's not just stop here. Let's practicalize case statements, and sure, with this tips and basics, we are good to go. So we would look at other SQL concepts in the coming video. Stay tuned. Thank you.